Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I think in Brazil it's still good morning, 11 a.m. there. We have two Brazilians. Some of them, they got caught up in the meetings, job meetings, because 11 a.m. there, but we're just going to start. Maybe they're going to come up later. They will be welcome, right? Today is again a special day. For the first time, we have a Portuguese speaker. So for the Brazilians, please try to keep it in English. I also
Oh,
joined.
I want to know about the pastéisinhos de Belém.
Oh, there you go. It's
Sorry,
not
I,
even
I can't.
started for 1 minute and they start speaking Portuguese already. Johannes, you're gonna have to help me. You
No,
read
he didn't
Uh,
speak. He passed the Pelem, the desserts from.
oh, you know it. Oh
Of
my
course.
God. You see what
Both.
happens when we have international people joining us. They know everything already. So anyhow, guys, Victor, I have something that I would never forget what you told me when I was on board. I remember working under him. What I mean is, he was my boss, guys. So I remember there was once I came to his office and he told me, Simone, I think it's time for me to give you a promotion. Not because you really deserve it 100%. I mean, you're a good girl, you're a nice girl, and you're good with the guests. When it comes to knowledge about the job, especially about the menu, your knowledge is a little bit, it has room for improvement. However, you do behave and you act sometimes like my daughter. So I have a little spot in my heart for you. And give you this promotion. I'll never forget that. So as I'm telling you guys, I really hoped and I wanted him to be our first Portuguese speaker. And here he is. He's a very busy guy. He has a very busy working on a cruise ship still. He just told me he'd like to win the lottery, so maybe to change something in his life. But I'm going to stop talking now. I'm going to let him take over. Victor, please give a little introduction. Just tell a little bit about you, about how we met, about Johannes as well, also here, especially for you, so that we can start with the questions, okay? Welcome.
Well, as you said, my name is Victor, and I used to work with Simon and Johannes. I still work on the ship. I think I'm the only one of the three of us that work on the ship. Johannes left a few years ago, and Simon even before that, right? And I like that story because that story. I used to be the supervisor for Simon. She did not work under me in any way, shape, or form, by the way. But I was a supervisor. And Johannes, he was my supervisor, right? And I think it's important that in life you give opportunity to people. They don't have to be the best, but they have to show commitment and attitude. That is with anything in life, right? And Simone, I remember her, and we're still in contact after all these years, is because she does have that positive attitude, which is very important in life. Back to myself. Yeah, I still work on the ship. I'm a general manager on a cruise ship for the last 11 years, 10 years, 10 on the way to 11. Is a wonderful world. Is a world of international. I meet people from Africa. I meet people from South America, North America, Europe, Asia, Oceania, everywhere in the world. It's a wonderful, wonderful way to meet people, not only working, as I spoke to Carlos, but cruising as well. I love cruising, and both ways are a very easy way to meet people and create friends for life, actually. That's it. That's me.
Thank you so much, Victor. Carlos, so what was your question?
Oh, my question to Victor. About the contracts, okay? Because I worked in Brazil to the government. Okay, I was a public servant. I was a kind of inspector. I went to the companies to see the contracts, okay? Because there are so many legal and illegal contracts. For instance, I am a Brazilian. I work in a, oh, I think this is off. I need to change it. Excuse me.
No, it's okay. It's
And
okay. It's okay.
Okay. If for a Brazilian guy works in a cruise company, how is the contract? Is an international contract or a Brazilian contract? Who is the regulation? Is from Portugal, from Europe, from Brazil, or depending on the flag of the cruise ship?
No, it works like that. For example, I'm going to use the example of you, Brazilian. Jean Carmel is from Ivory Coast, or Simone is from Belgium, for example. You could have three different agents, and you sign first a contract with the agency to represent you, and before you join the ship, you sign a contract with the company. With a company based, the company is not so simple like that. The company, for example, many companies, they are from Miami, for example, NCL,
Costa,
Costa
or
is different. Costa is different.
Norwegian.
It's Italian. They have Costa, as is a more complicated. They have European contracts for some crew members. They have international based on a company that they have in Malta or Cyprus, somewhere like that. So everybody must have a contract. We have regulations in that matter. Is no one on the ship without a contract. Is no one on the ship without medical coverage. Is no one on the ship without many insurance, many things, because the authorities of the different countries, they would not allow the ship to stop if we don't commit to their rules and international rules. So everybody has a contract, not necessary in your country, except with your agency. You might have a contract with your agency, and that contract said we do not see it on the ship because they are private between you and the hiring partners. Usually we pay them to hire people, but we have heard of cases that people sign contracts, different conditions, but there's nothing to do with the cruise lines. It's nothing to do with the companies. But everybody has a contract working on the ship. Yes.
Okay. Oh, thank you. And it's a risky job, because I remember I was in a cruise ship and we had a training about the abandoning the ship, about the fire. There are some risks, and people need to be, I guess, organized to prevent these situations.
Correct.
Or biological contamination. And the time of COVID-19, I remember all the cruise ships stopped it.
Mm-hmm. Exaggeration, but okay. That's a different 5 cents.
Okay, thank you, Victor.
Yeah.
Victor, which cruise line do you work for?
Right now, I work for a big corporation called NCL, and I work for one of their subsidiaries, Oceania Cruises.
And do you work just in one cruise ship, or you work in different kind of
No, I
cruise
work for the company. I work for the company. They can move me from ship to ship as they need. The last couple of years, I've been in one ship only, but they can move me anytime they want. I work for the company, right?
Usually, where is the route of the ship that you work? All
over the world. All over the world. Mm-hmm.
Have you come to Brazil yet?
Now they got now. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful Brazil.
Santos, Salvador.
Santos, Fortaleza, Belém,
Rio de Janeiro,
Manaus,
Santos. I guess in Paraná now. In Paraná State,
everywhere
we have
in
a stop. Okay,
Ilhabela.
Yeah, and
Buenos
I've been in
Aires.
Ilhabela, but not on a cruise. And I've been in Ivory Coast too.
Ivory Coast.
Yeah, Ivory Coast is a good country. So it's a good country. Yeah, just the weather hot. It's hot.
It's very hot, right? It's north.
Yeah, it's hot. It's hot.
And they have good fish.
Yeah.
They have good fish, but by the coast.
Ils sont de bons poissons, c'est ça que je voulais dire.
Good fish. Yeah, we have the good fish in Côte d'Ivoire. Yeah, the many fish. It depends. Which fish do you want to eat?
Portuguese people eat any fish.
Bacalhau.
We
Good
eat
bacalhau.
everything.
Yeah.
We eat
Good
everything.
bacalhau, Victor.
Yeah, yeah.
Bacalhau, A plus.
I have a
Yeah.
question. I have a question to Victor. Victor,
Oh my God.
when you were in Brazil,
Yes.
which city or which port did you feel like you were in Portugal? Because when I went to Lisbon, I felt like I was in Brazil. It was so weird, especially like in Minas Gerais. I don't know if you've been to that.
No, never been to Minas.
So Portuguese, unbelievable. Did you have a feeling like you were in Portugal at all?
When you go to Rio, the calçada,
Copacabana.
yeah, it's. But the place, actually, Johannes, I know that he remembers very well. One of the best places that I've been in Brazil, and they remind me Europe, by the people, by everything. It was Florianopolis. We were there a couple of days together. Actually, we had some adventure in that couple of days. We stayed
I
there.
have to share it. You say A, you have to say everything. So Johannes, please tell us which kind of adventure did Florianopolis?
They sent
That it was a great time in Brazil.
It was a
Beautiful
great time.
city.
I have not forgotten this place, and I haven't forgotten these 2 days, even though both of us were at the end dead tired. And we left the ship in Rio de Janeiro and flew via Sao Paulo to Florianopolis. And the reason why we did was the ship came 2 days later, and we had a big beach barbecue there. And it was raining, I don't know how much, for the last 3 or 4 days, even the night before they came in. So for 24 hours or 48 hours, Victor and I tried to get everything organized down there. I was at that time the travel manager, the tour manager, and Victor was in the dining room, a head waiter, I believe. And we flew ahead, and I was, as I mentioned last time already, Florianopolis was a great place. Victor and I had met beautiful people there. You remember Noel, the gray hair guy, and the other team members down there. We sat and had barbecue the night before in the rain.
Oof.
And
Wow.
the next morning, we had radio contact with the ship, and they were so far out we couldn't see them, but we could hear them, and it all went well. Victor managed to feed all of them and get them back on board, and I was transportation logistics. I went home at that night, took a shower, and fell asleep on the way between my shower and the bed. And Victor knows there was the harmony. These cabins were not big. Of course, a couple of caipirinhas did do the trick as well.
Yeah, it was good stuff.
I think I think it's for sure 20 years ago when that happened.
No, there's more.
More than
More.
so
More.
Victor, you had to speak Portuguese because back then it's difficult to speak another language with Brazilians.
Actually, that's one of the reasons I went. It was many waiters, but they chose me because
of language.
yeah, because of the language. In the time, I was not a senior head waiter or anything like that. I was one of the junior head waiters, actually. I was. It was back in '97, I would say, Johannes, or '98, somewhere
Yeah,
there.
it was in the 90s. It was a different century.
Yes, and yeah, it was amazing. We had a costela in fogo de chão. It was the first time, but we had the real people doing it. The people who from
How do you
Mato
say
Grosso
that?
or whatever. They can't.
It's from the south. How do you say people from Florianopolis? Gaúchos?
Gaúcho, you know, it was Gaúcho with a hat, everything. And they made this amazing barbecue in fogo de chão in our honor, okay?
Wow.
I'm telling you, it was amazing, 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 beautiful people, beautiful experience.
That's all
Anyway.
Brazilians are all about, eh? To keep great experiences, right?
Well,
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about traveling. Do you guys have some questions? Let me start with the first question. Talking to you, Victor, you just mentioned you visit already all the continents, you've been everywhere. You shared a very beautiful experience in Brazil, but is there anywhere else in the world that you say, oh, I love it. I've been there many times and it feels so good because
Simone, good for retirement. Good for retirement.
for instance, a place that you can say, okay, maybe I'm gonna retire there. I want to live there.
Except Lisbon, because I guess Victor loves Lisbon.
He's a
I think this is for everybody. It doesn't matter where we come from in the world. Home is home. Maybe we could discuss if the people from Syria or from Gaza, they feel the same way. I can bet you that they feel exactly the same way. They wish to have peace on the world and be able to go back to their place, right? So with this, I want to say that Portugal is really the place that I really feel good. I feel well when I come home, when I come back. I do not live in here all year long. I live between here and Serbia because I have a young son. So I live about half of the year on the ship and the rest of the time between Portugal and Serbia. And I feel very comfortable. I think Johanna's been to Serbia as well, right? You've been to Serbia, Johannes?
Yeah, plenty of times.
Yeah, business-wise, you go there, I believe.
Yeah.
It's really nice place, nice people, nice food, nothing wrong with it.
Did
But
you learn
home
the
is home.
language already?
Actually, I did not learn much because my son refused to speak Portuguese and he loves to speak English, and he speaks better English than me. So it's and my friends in Serbia, they want to learn English. So I'm like the teacher over there. So nobody's ever gonna teach me Serbian. So otherwise they would lose the free classes. So no.
How old is your
Also,
son now, Victor?
Andrew is 15 now. Yeah.
Lost track completely. He's 15.
fly.
Taller than me. Yeah, taller than me. Do whatever I want. You want this? No. You want that? No. No, teenagers. I don't know if you guys have teenagers, but
Yeah, I have
do.
one. It's really tough phase of the life. How many kids do you have, Victor? Just one?
3.
3.
Yeah, but the other two, they are very grown up. One is almost 40. The other one is 30 something, 33.
30 something.
Yeah, I always forget how old she is. 34.
Yeah,
She's gonna be 34 this year.
I have three sons. Sometimes I forget the ages because every year is different age.
I don't know why every year is different. I don't understand, but yes, it's true. Johannes has 2 as well. Simone has 2.
Hello, Jose. How are you?
Hello, I'm fine, thank you.
You're
Welcome.
welcome.
Sorry, I'm late today. I was in a job meeting, and it is late.
Okay, no worries about it. You can go ahead and ask Victor your question about Portugal or traveling or cruise ships. Do you have a question? Jose,
Oh, sorry.
would you like to ask Victor a question?
Victor, question.
Some question.
Portugal. Victor, I want to know about the wines, Portuguese wines.
Oh, the Portuguese wines.
Yes, who
That's
is the
good
best?
stuff, huh? Good
Who is
stuff. You guys,
the best wine to
in Brazil, you take good advantage of Portuguese wines. I know that. You guys have a good selection there. You know what to drink. Yeah, I love Portuguese wines too, especially the ones from Douro and Alentejo, especially that 2 areas. I don't know if you ever tried.
Vinho do Porto is delicious.
It's sweet and delicious,
really.
it's true. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Portugal also is famous of the olive oil produced in Portugal, right?
That's correct. Actually, yesterday I was in a group of friends We used to have the best and the most, how should I say? I don't want to say cheap, but affordable olive oil in Europe. And the Greeks have affordable olive oil too, but in Portugal, you had the Italian, very expensive Italian olive oil. The Slovenians and the Croatians they had, but very expensive because it was small production. And Portugal had, very reasonable prices for olive oil. We used to buy a bottle of olive oil, Gallo. I'm sure you know in Brazil.
Yeah, Gallo. Yeah, Gallo.
Gallo.
Here's so
I
expensive here.
Well, but now in here, a bottle of Gallo, it cost, I checked yesterday, I was talking to my friends, because I don't know if it happened in Brazil and Ivory Coast and in Belgium and Austria, if you guys do that. But in Portugal, when you go to a supermarket, we have the alcohol, meaning like whiskey and the expensive grappa and whatever is more than, I would say, 15 euro, 20 euro, as an alarm on the bottle, right? So now the olive oil in Portugal have the alarm on the bottle.
No way.
Wow.
No joking. No joke. We were like amazed. They are closed, but they close them down in a cabinet, or they have the alarm on it, because a bottle of olive oil, 750 milliliters, it costs you 12, 13 euro. 12, 13 euro is something like 80 reais, right? About 80 real. This is insane for us.
Yes.
12, 13 euro for a bottle of oil that used to cost maybe 3.5, 4, maybe 2 years ago. Now is is incredible.
But Victor, I believe that the reason also is because of the war between Russia and Ukraine, because they used to export oil.
No.
And now
No.
Portugal it's exporting them, no? Why?
Nobody produces olive oil except the southern countries. Only us, the Italians, the Spanish, and the Greeks, we produce. The Russians, they don't produce olive oil. They produce oil, but it's a black one.
Ukraine. So that's why they are exporting up, and the locals, they have to pay more because they're not that much. Don't you?
Simone, no, I think our politicians they are making fun of us.
Really?
The olive oil has nothing to do with the war. Trust me.
Because here in Belgium, the price also went up ever since the war started. So I think it has to do something to do with that. Anyhow, Jean Carmel, do you have a question for Victor? Oh, his camera is frozen.
Frozen. Here in my city, the bottle of olive oil, it costs 50 reais, 500 milliliters.
Yes,
50 reais. Yeah.
I am in São Paulo, and it's the cost of an oil. It's very expensive.
Really expensive.
Crazy. That's the reason I only drink caipirinha agora. Now that's it. Only caipirinha, much cheaper.
Soybean oil.
Yeah. Soy oil, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, because they say that a lot of olive oil is false. It's not true. They mix additives or some different.
That's the reason I buy Gallo. Gallo.
Okay, Gallo is good.
Gallo is good. Yeah. I have another
one. Andorinha is good, Vitor.
Andorinha. I like Andorinha too.
I guess the number one in Brazil is Andorinha.
Andorinha?
Yes.
I buy Oliveira da Serra in Portugal for cooking. Oliveira da Serra.
But there are so many fake olive oils. Fake. Okay, if it's too cheap, the good price,
no good.
Bad quality.
Especially from Argentina, Carlos.
Oh, you see, there are good olive oil from Argentina, but we need to take care because they mix soybean oil, some flavoring. Okay,
we can trust our cousins from Argentina.
I was thinking the same. I said, oh, the Brazilians are going to start about the Argentinians already.
Just to mention,
send
Victor is an
they
excellent
send.
cook.
Sorry.
Victor is an excellent cook. I mean, if you want a cooking question, he can cook like a god. Victor, when was the last time you cooked crab?
I
Crab.
cook so
Oh,
many
Vitor,
things, yeah.
Vitor, please take this. Say to us something about bacalhau, because I love bacalhau. Codfish.
Bacalhau, yeah.
Because bacalhau is different kind of different fishes, not just one fish.
No. We used to get the best bacalhau is the one caught in Norway, in that region, Norway, because the content of fat in the fish gives the flavor. But even that is not the same anymore. Before a bacalhau used to have 12 kilo, 14 kilo bacalhau. Now they find 4 kilo.
Yeah,
It's
I'll say that.
like, what the heck is this? It's not like the same as a bull or a pig. It's not the same. It's completely different. You want a bigger fish. On the bull, you want a smaller one because the meat is tender and so forth. On the fish, it's completely different. On the bacalhau, you want the big one because there's a lot of fat.
Okay,
And that's what
it's
gives
delicious, delicious. But I guess the fishes are disappearing because overfishing.
Yeah,
So many,
completely.
so many boats fishing everywhere, and the fishes are becoming smaller.
Smaller and smaller, yeah. Simone, Mr. Jean Carmel is back.
There you go. Okay, Jean? Can
Yeah,
you
I have some question to Victor. It's 2 or 4.
come again?
I'm sorry?
I have some question. Victor, have you ever been to Ivory Coast?
Yes, I've been to your coast in one of the ports. I can't recall the name. I don't remember. I've been so many ports in the world, but I don't recall. But I've been all over West Africa, yes. It's a very beautiful area of the world. It's completely different than Europe or America, but it's a very beautiful coast and it's beautiful people as well. And good football players.
Yeah, no, I don't play. I don't play football. I like play basketball.
Ah, interesting. Okay. And what was the second question, John?
When you are in Ivory Coast, what is your best experience in for Cote d'Ivoire? What is your best experience?
Here with my was before, remember, because around trips that I went to Brazil, Africa, and all the way up with you. I reached here 15, 16, 17, 18. I did so many times. I don't remember each year I was there. I was trying to look in here the map. Each port we went. Abidjan is possible.
Maybe
Abidjan?
Alfonso can share his screen with us so we can check. Also, how far is?
I think it was a city called Abidjan. Is possible?
Yeah.
They have a port,
yeah,
right?
It's Abidjan. Yeah, Abidjan is the capital.
Yep. That's the what I've been in your country.
Abidjan, yeah.
Yeah.
A
bit down. There you go.
Let me see. Ivory Coast, Côte d'Ivoire. Côte d'Ivoire.
All the way close to the border with Ghana. I believe that is the port. Not Portugal. Not Portugal.
It's a big country. It's not small.
No, it's a big country.
Big area.
It's near Brazil, no?
It's near Brazil, not very far.
They were together millions of years ago. We were together, Africa and Latin America. We were together.
An ocean. into the two countries.
Abidjan, it was connected with Pará.
Oh,
Yeah. Maybe the some tree, the same trees, some vegetable. I don't know about animals.
Yeah, probably they have lots of things in common. Yeah,
So
definitely.
Victor, you visit all these countries in the north part of East Africa?
I'd never visit Mauritania. I never visit West Sahara. The rest, I've been to Gabon, to Ghana, to Angola,
Morocco.
Namibia, yeah, Cabo Verde, São Tomé. I visit our cousins all in Africa as well. Beautiful country, São Tomé e Príncipe.
But all the countries that you visited, it was just on the coast, or how many countries did you visit inside, like not coast countries, you know, like
in Africa? In Africa, none. I did some trips exploring some areas close to the ports, but I never been in Africa on my own on vacation or something like that.
How about another country in another continent? For example, there is no port, you know, it's not a coast.
I've been on vacation, for example, in your country. I've been in the United States and Croatia, Montenegro, Spain, a few, Japan.
Let's share your city, Lisbon. What is the main attractions to go to visit in Lisbon?
Well, depends who you are, where you come from, and for what you're coming here, right? Many people come here for the food, for example. Now, in the last, I would say 10 years, we have a lot of people coming here for party. A lot of younger Europeans, they come here for a couple of days, 3-4 days. They come here for party. Cheap drinks compared to their country. A very international population.
There is like a Copacabana
everywhere.
here, sidewalk, Copacabana lines here.
Lisbon
It's similar
is
to Copacabana,
yes.
Copacabana sidewalk.
Yeah. Then we have, of course, you're showing some beautiful slides of Rossio and Marquês de Pombal. Our architecture and monuments in Lisbon are comparable to many other cities in Europe. Capital cities, and not only capital cities in Europe, are famous for their monuments, their palaces, museums, architecture, so forth. So we have that as well.
What is the name of this? It's a kind of castle here or a fort?
No, that is Torre de Belém. That is the old, like 300 something years, 400 years old. It was the old custom house. So the ships going in the river, they would have to pay a fee. That is old traditional house where the customs used to have a small boat, go out and come back. So the ships, cargo ships and passenger ships, 300-400 years ago, 200 years ago, they used to pay, they pay the duties in this house. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's not used for that obviously. Now it's only a monument. There's nothing there inside. They have some expositions once in a while, but there's nothing works there.
This area here is like where the ship come to cargo.
That's
port
correct.
Here.
That's correct.
It's a bay. I like a huge bay. A huge bay here.
Yeah.
Bay.
But it's not. The ships only go until the line. You see the line over there is the bridge. The ships only can go really until the bridge, not after the bridge.
Here. Okay, here.
No, they passed not that bridge. The next one, the one up. No, to the right.
This
exactly. So
this one here.
Big, the ships can be, but not above
Vasco
that.
da Gama Bridge.
That's correct. The above that is shallow waters.
Oh, shallow waters.
Mm-hmm.
How about beaches? There are a lot of good beaches to go.
And boats. Yeah, all over the place.
What is the most famous beach?
You have the north side of Lisbon, you have Carcavelos, and the south part, you have Costa da Caparica. And then in the south of Portugal, that's the most famous ones, is Algarve.
This one.
Yeah, Costa da Caparica, yeah. Lots of Brazilian people live there in that area. A lot. I would say 50% of the population is from Brazil.
Really?
Really?
Our population.
Oh, it's impressive.
Oh, I guess for Brazilian, if you have money or if you don't have money, Europe is a kind of dream, because some cities in Brazil, they have some problems of violence, maybe unemployment, and they imagine Europe as a dream. I'll go to Italy, Portugal, or Sweden, or
Yes, really. I'm thinking about it now, exactly now.
Well, in Costa da Caparica, for example, I go quite often over there in the summer to the beach. Every second person is from Brazil, and I understand why, because many of them, they have dual nationality, right? And why not to be near in the summer is safe, and it's quite safe. We have some problems already with crime that we didn't have 5 years ago. But again, the amount of tourists that we have now is huge, and the tourism attracts some kind of, how should I say, pickpockets, for example, right? It's almost impossible not to. Barcelona is full of it, right? Because the tourists, right?
But
May I ask you something? In the north of Europe, Belgium and Austria and all that, you guys have problems with that as well, with pickpockets?
Not actually. Can sorry, but someone has to damp, because
Sorry?
I'm getting audios from outside. I don't know who is the one who is getting that. Anyhow, Victor, here in Belgium, it's pretty much controlled, all that. So it might happen in Brussels or in Antwerp, but because they're the biggest cities in the country. Also, like in the French-speaking part of Belgium, Liège, we call it, we also might encounter some situations like that, but it's not as big as in the big cities like Barcelona, London, São Paulo,
Lisbon.
like
Lisbon.
yeah, like Lisbon. No, I would say that in Belgium and in the Netherlands is pretty much controlled, the situation. And we have lots of immigrants also coming from this war areas, and they're very welcomed. Let's say they're protected. They get money from the government, so that this kind of situation don't happen. So they try to really integrate them and give them basics, let's say. So they have money they get money every week to buy food or to buy something that they'd like. So what happens also is, like, some of them, they don't buy food, but they buy Nike shoes, or they go for some jackets, you know what I mean? But anyhow, so they do whatever they want with their money that they get from the government. And yeah, so this kind of things don't happen. My question, Victor, to you was, how about Africans? Are lots of Africans in Portugal as well?
Yeah, but they are part of our culture as well, like the same as Brazil. We went all over the place. We have Indian people as well. They return if their grandparents, they were Portuguese, they're allowed to have Portuguese passport, and they very well integrate in the society.
Are in Portugal at the moment, that they are the ones who speak Portuguese, you mean?
No, not necessarily, but mainly that ones. But we have people from Zaire, from Nigeria as well, without passports, but immigrants. Yeah, but yeah,
Because
the ones from Angola, we don't even call them. Just our people. It's our people. That's it.
In Brazil, there's lots of
that's our people too. Brazilians are not foreigners. The Brazilians is like somebody from Porto. It's the same. Brazilians, they are from Brazil. They could be from Porto, they could be from Algarve, but they are from Porto.
Victor,
they are from Brazil.
The Brazilians that I know who live in Portugal, they don't speak Brazilian anymore. They speak Portuguese, and that's a good thing. I mean,
they're smart. They're smart.
That's what I was expecting to hear. Oh my gosh.
No, that's not true. We make jokes now. Everybody's welcome.
Of course. I have another question.
Simone, sometimes we don't understand the Portuguese from Portugal. I have a Portuguese channel in my TV, and sometimes I just go to take a look, and some words difficult to understand, Vitor, because the Portuguese, they speak so fast, and they use tu vais, tu vens.
Carlos, for me, it was always difficult to understand Victor when he spoke Portuguese and English. So I think it has to do with Portuguese people, you know? It's not just Victor. Portuguese people are just different. They're complicated. No, I'm just joking.
We are complicated. No.
I'm just joking. Victor, I have a question. From all the countries in the world that you visit, also with your background, like working in the kitchen, working in restaurants, which are your favorite food in the world?
Bacalhau.
I think it's a difficult one because I think you love to eat.
Bacalhau.
Bacalhau com batatas. Bacalhau com batatas. Batata ao murro.
Carlos, the simple food is the best, right?
Come
Oh,
on.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's true.
say something different.
Simon, it's so funny. I believe we had a conversation about this forum and all that, and the importance of everybody to have a common language, and the English as a common language that everybody understands. And it's amazing. People from so many different nationalities and backgrounds are able to speak together with a common language. But in our own countries, we have a common language, which is our own native language. You guys in Brazil have your Brazilian language. Okay, Johannes is from Austria. He has a very distinct German. And I guess you have even some dialects in Austria, right?
Yeah.
Monsieur Jean Carmel from Ivory Coast, they have a very different French. They speak French, but God knows how many different versions of French in Africa. In Portugal, small country, okay?
Yeah.
We have 9.5 million
Japan.
people. We have 9.5 million people, and we have two archipelagos, right? We have Madeira and Azores, which they're not colonies, they're part of the territory. They never been colonies because they were deserted islands that we really discovered. That's the only thing we discover. That's the reality. Nobody was there, so we discovered it. And we brought population there. Initially population, it was a mixture between lords and fine people and criminals. And at one point, it was some slaves as well, especially in Madeira, not necessarily in the Azores. So a big mix, right? So we have a channel on TV. It's called RTP, Radio Televisão Portuguesa, the Portuguese TV. They have a channel for Azores and one from Madeira, right? And we have the national one, right? National one, we have two. Number one, number two. And then we have Madeira and the Azores, RTP, Madeira and Azores. They have news, local entertainment, local subjects, only for them. But once in a while, we get some journalists that they make pieces from Madeira or Azores, and in order for everybody to understand, they have to put subtitles.
No.
I swear to God, nobody understand them, but nobody understand them.
Isolated for so long.
I'm sorry?
Because they've been isolated for so many years, no contact.
They've been isolated, they've been mixed in so many ways. There's a series on Netflix called Rabo de Peixe. It's no way I understand. I don't understand one word, zero.
I've heard about it. There was a child walking on the coast. Oh yeah,
and they found the drugs. Yes, it's a true story. Actually, it's a true story. It's a drug boat.
They have the same in Austria, right? In Austria, you have the same with
the dialects, and I'm sure.
As you remember, my wife and I, we don't understand each other because she comes from the north and I come from the east. Remember, we talk in English. Last time we explained this to you, but
they're the most That's for couples, Johannes. That's why.
Yeah, because when they start to fight in their own language. Nobody understands what they say.
Victor, speaking about language, we Brazilian, we can see the difference between our Portuguese and the Portuguese from other countries that were colonized by Portuguese settlers. But there is this huge difference. It seems like we were set apart because our Portuguese is not similar as the Portuguese from the other countries. The other countries we have in Africa, they speak almost the same language. It's more similar to the Portuguese original language, okay? It's like in United States that we have in Canada, similar, okay, accent, but if you go to New Zealand or Australia or the United Kingdom, there is difference of accent. And there are some words here, like in Portuguese here in Brazil that we cannot say, like, for example, rapariga. We cannot say rapariga here because it's a bad word, you know. But in Portugal, it's not, you know. In Portugal, rapariga is a girl, all right? Word. It's a good word, but here in Brazil, we cannot say. But there is some word that it is said here in Brazil that you cannot say in Portugal. That is a bad word in Portugal, but is a good word here in Brazil.
Os putos. Que é os putos? Vitor, please.
Puto is the kids.
Putos, but in Brazil is offensive.
It's a very bad word.
The female version of puto.
Oh yeah. In general, we don't say putos. No. We say putas. It's a very offensive.
That is a very offensive word in Portugal. Adilson, what you say about Portuguese in Africa, mainly in Africa, that they sound closer to Portuguese. I think it's because we stayed much longer there, and the school system, it was based on Portuguese teachers. Portugal was sending teachers. They were bringing them to Portugal. They had full education in Portugal before they went back to the colonies as teachers. So not only the locals, but the Portuguese as well, they kept going back for 2 more centuries than in Brazil, right? And it was closer as well. I think that is, I'm not studying that matter, but that's what it makes sense to me. It was the fact that our education system, it was feeding the teachers to Africa, to all that African countries. Still today, we have that program. Still today, we send in, I don't know, dozens and dozens of Portuguese teachers to African countries. I think that's the main reason. Besides that, is because Brazil, while we were there, you were far from Portugal. And you had much more influence of the thousands and millions of people that were brought from different places and from your local native population. And it became the beautiful language that you have, right? It's a beautiful language.
It's so nice.
Thank you. I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed.
We have here an ambassador from another country. Is Fábio Reis from Bahia. Let's say hello to Fábio Reis. Because in Bahia, they speak a different language. Oh.
That's why I would like to let Fábio ask Victor some questions and tell him a little bit about you, about Salvador and being a historian.
Salvador was the first place that we went there, right? Salvador is the first.
Yeah. It was not in Salvador, it was in the south, in a place named Porto Seguro, but it's not so far from Salvador. But first of all, I'd like to say sorry for my tiredness. I had a problem. My wife had a small accident by car, but now it's okay. Secondly, I'd like to say that it's nice to meet you. And I'm at work. It's a background noise here, but let's forget about that. My question is, last year I went to your country, but I had a very, very different experience there because every place where I went, everybody was talking just in English. When I got in a bakery, in a pub, in a bar, or a restaurant, Nobody says, "Olá, seja bem-vindo." They usually says, "Hello, welcome to this restaurant." You know, I remember a day I went to a store to buy some I don't remember, but I was trying to buy something, but the people there, they weren't able to speak Portuguese, even in the hotel. If you are in Portugal, if you are able to speak English, it's good. Portuguese is not so important, at least in Lisbon and Porto. What's the problem? Why Portuguese is not so important there?
Fabio, that is a very nice question, very pertinent. I'm not a politician, and I'm going to tell you my feeling as a Portuguese, just a regular Joe. Okay. Moments before you joined, I say that in the last 10 years we have a lot of tourism in Portugal, not necessarily the tourism that we had. Our tourism, it was Brazilian tourism, it was a little English tourism, North European tourism, and I don't want to sound snob, but it was a higher quality tourism. Today, the tourism that we have is a party tourism, is a cheap drinking tourism, is a low-cost tourism. Okay, Portugal needed a lot of immigrants, and in the past, that need, it was filled by Brazilians and Africans. Lately, the Brazilians that we have, they don't come here to work in lower jobs. They have more means to support themselves. They are better educated. They have much more education as well. So they take better jobs. So jobs like Uber driver, jobs like a person working in a pastry shop or in a bakery, or even in the restaurant. These days they are from different sources of immigration, and that sources are India, are Pakistan, Bangladesh, Syria. With the war, we had some refugees, but that ones, they don't want to work in that. Again, some educated people with money, they don't want to work. But that's one of the reasons. Most of the people that you face today in a shop, in a hotel, the entrance level jobs with less pay are executed by immigrants from that countries. I go to a Uber, I take a Uber, they don't speak Portuguese. Unless they are Brazilians. We have a few Brazilians, we have a few Portuguese. Mostly they are from Bangladesh, India, Nepal, Pakistan, Syria. We have many as well, but not that much. I think Bangladesh and Pakistan are now the big sources of immigration, and that's the reason you find these people, because Lisbon is an international city today. It's very, very international, very international. I mentioned as well that where I live, close to Costa da Caparica, in the other side of Lisbon. I don't know if when you're in Lisbon, you notice you cross the river to the other side is Almada and Costa da Caparica. Here is the Brazilian area. We have so many Brazilians. We call Brazilians, but many of them, they're not Brazilians. They're Portuguese people. And even them, sometimes we talk, because I have neighbors from Brazilian origin, and then we have fun already, because they make fun as well. I come to Portugal, now I have to speak English. Oh my God. It's like,
Okay. Fabio, it was a very good question. I'm glad you made it. I'm so sorry for your wife. I hope she gets better soon. Guys, we just ran out of time. I promised Victor that this meeting would take 1 hour, and that's 1 hour later. I'd like to thank you, all of you, for being here. For me, it was also very difficult. Too much testosterone today. That's the first meeting that we have that I'm the only girl. And I felt sometimes, a little bit different with all of you. No, I'm just kidding. It was lovely. Victor, it was fun. Johannes, thank you so much also for being here, for sharing
Thank you for inviting me.
guys had. We didn't even plan. And it's actually in Brazil, so it was really nice and it's special for us. And for you guys, thank you for being here, and I see you next time. It's going to be next Tuesday. We are going to Germany, okay? Thank you all.
Okay,
You have
thank
a
you
good day.
guys. Have a great
Thank
week.
you,
Have a great
guys.
day.
See you.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Victor.